Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be looking over comments on my Sonic Omens videos. If you haven't watched those yet, you should go watch them right now. And a lot of these comments were pretty ignorant, so I thought it would be funny to bring this series back from the dead just to read over these comments. So, hopefully you guys are ready for the insanity of this comment section. I'm just gonna read the really crazy ones, because I think those are the most interesting ones. Dylan, my doppelganger, says, without even watching this, I know it's going to be a huge load of bullshit, but you're all going to watch it and attack us because Dylan knows everything. Okay, so here's the question. Who is us? Are you referring to a movement? Are you part of a movement? Is there a movement I'm against? Because the only thing I said in my video was, I don't think that people should be called out and canceled for optional donations or optional payment or optional tips, which is what Patreon is. It's you tipping someone something. You're not paying them to buy a product. He's not selling you a product. It's just if you like his work and want to help him fund other projects and work on other stuff, then you can give him some money on the side. That's what it is. It's not you paying for a product. But I'm really curious who the us is and what part of a group you're representing. Those are very interesting questions. Sonic fan game community plus Twitter equals full autism. I 100% agree on that. Sega isn't much of an art company. Now, this is something quoted directly from Ellis Mark, and I got this comment so much, and you're going to see it so much, because people can't think for themselves, and they'd rather just quote someone else even if they're wrong. Sega isn't an art company. They're a game company. Okay, if Sega is an art company and not a game company, If Sega is a game company and not an art company, why the fuck does Sonic exist in other media? And are you saying that gaming itself isn't an art? Are you saying that video games aren't an art? Because people have been fighting that stigma for years. But last time I checked, you can get Sonic the Hedgehog on just about anything. I can get backpacks. I bought a wallet. You can get wall scrolls, which I have 2 of. You can get shirts, which I have 4 of. You can get coasters, which we have a set of. You can get glasses. You can get like individual frames from animations. You can get so many things Sonic the Hedgehog that has been released. There's so many things. People buy prints of Sonic the Hedgehog so they can go get it signed. And when it comes to people arguing about Sega only does games, well, I can go buy Sonic the Hedgehog vinyl records. I can go buy Sonic the Hedgehog CDs, and these are all licensed by Sega. These are all things that Sega are currently making. I can buy Sonic the Hedgehog DVDs. I can buy so many things with Sonic the Hedgehog on it that you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked at how many branches Sega has. The comic books are officially licensed. The animations are officially licensed. There's so many things Sonic the Hedgehog related. To just call it a game, it's ludicrous. It's not like Mario, where Mario had one cartoon in the 80s that had a couple spin-offs, and none of them were that good. Sonic the Hedgehog has concurrently had ongoing books, ongoing comic books, ongoing animations. They've had so many things since it first launched. It's crazy that you would just say, it's just a game. It's ludicrous. If one person can do it, that means others can start doing it. Now, that is a hypothetical. That is a fucking slippery slope fallacy. There is a reason why we don't engage in that type of thought, because it's pointless. It's pointless to assume what if. I can come up with the worst case scenarios for any situation, but until that occurs, it's just imagination. When it comes to reality, Sega has been around for a long time, and fan games have been around since like Sonic 2 and 3. The Sonic fan games have been around for God knows how long, and there's been websites funded by people donating. There has been fucking projects funded by people donating. There has been so many things that accepts donations on the side. Every project have done it at one point or another. It's ridiculous that now, all of a sudden, out of all the fucking 20 years, going on 30, that Sonic has existed, that now Sega would be like, oh my god, people are raising up optional money? That's money we're losing. Which I hate that argument to begin with, because Sega isn't losing any money from people running fan projects. People are still going to buy the next Sonic game. People are still going to buy the Sonic animations. People are still going to buy the Sonic music CDs. They're not going to stop buying Sonic products just because a fan thing exists. That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous to assume that Sega would even consider being hurt by this. When it comes to Nintendo, Nintendo has been protective of their property since they first started making games. You can track it all the way back to the 1980s, all the way back when people loved Nintendo. They were bringing people to court left and right. Nintendo has always been suing the fuck out of people. Nintendo has always been shutting down stuff ever since it fucking started. You can take that back with Pokemon too. You can jump back 10 years and find Pokemon silencing people. You can go back 20 years and find Pokemon shutting down events that weren't official. You can find that for any Nintendo thing, dating all the way back to when Nintendo started making video games. It's ridiculous that you would expect any company to become Nintendo. It's more likely that Sega will become like Steam or fucking Valve or whatever company you want to call it. And they have made it to where people can use their properties. They allow modifications. They allow people to have the source code to their games. They allow people to fuck with shit. Nowadays, people aren't so protective of their IPs because they know that your games stay relevant through modification, through parody, through people making fan projects. This is how you stay relevant. I think Half-Life has a fucking blessed continuation from the fans. I think it's ridiculous that people would assume that every company is Nintendo. And to go the Nintendo route, that is ridiculous. To assume that they would become the worst case scenario. That's fear-mongering. 100% fear-mongering. It is straight up illegal without Sega permission from the company. Okay, now that's another thing. It is a gray area. It would be illegal if Sega decided to take them to court. But Sega has not filed anything. Sega has not complained. Therefore, right now, you cannot say that these projects are illegal. Illegal is a legal term. If Sega isn't dealing with any damages and Sega chooses not to comment on fan projects or fan games in a negative light, then there is no crime, there is no victim, and it is not illegal. Not to mention, a lot of projects could classify as fair use. I'm not going to say that this game does classify as fair use. I'm not going to say that this game would go through any loopholes. I'm just pointing out the fact that the legal system is not so cut and dry. It is ridiculous to definitively say anything is illegal. You are not a lawyer. You are not a politician. You have no fucking backing to your statements. You have a fucking Final Fantasy profile picture, and you're acting like you have any ground to stand on when it comes to talking about the legal system. I really doubt you know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just repeating shit that people have told you. Sega of Japan doesn't like stuff like this. Now, that is fucking bullshit. I've heard a lot of people talk about the Sega of Japan shit. Sega of Japan has struck down trailers. Sega of Japan has struck down translations. Sega of Japan has struck down modifications. But as far as I'm aware, Sega of Japan has not gotten involved in the fan game territory. Sega of Japan has not meddled in fan projects or fan fictions or whatever you want to call these things. Sega of Japan has bigger and better things to worry about. So assuming that Sega of Japan is evil just because they're Japanese like Nintendo is dumb. It's a silly idea and somewhat racist, if I have to say so myself. Just assuming that Sega of Japan would be the one to do anything. But that's me. That's my own personal take on it. Maybe I'm wrong. The problem isn't exactly Patreon. but the uprising that is happening and starting to steal money from Sega. Now that is a lie, a bold-faced lie. No one is stealing money from Sega. People are still buying Sonic stuff, and people will continue to buy Sonic stuff. And the uprising of people using Patreons is propaganda. People have already had Sonic Patreons. If you go and watch my video, I show so many. There are fan comics that are Patreon funded. There are fan animations that are Patreon funded. There has been fan animations that have been kickstarted in the Sonic community. There has been so many fucking projects kickstarted or whatever. It's stupid to think that now, all of a sudden out of nowhere, people are going to start switching over. And yes, I know what the chat is saying, Mobius Unleashed, that's a good example. Mobius Unleashed and Sonic Passion before it were pay websites. And Sonic fucking Mobius Unleashed still exists. So these are pay websites that you have to pay to get in. There are people on Twitter who sell you Sonic Dojin, which is Sonic pornography, porn comics. You can buy this shit from them. And that is buying a product directly from someone. It's stupid that you would consider optional donations as people stealing money, but then people are actually selling products with Sonic on it, and nothing's happening. There are hundreds of Etsy accounts selling Sonic shit right now, and Sega's doing nothing about it. I can buy Sonic bootleg figures on Amazon, and Sega's doing nothing about it. It's propaganda. That's what it is. It becomes a problem over time, like pollution. So it 100% proves that you've been brainwashed and that you've been fed propaganda, so you're trying to feed me propaganda. IMO, the game isn't that good. So now it's the game isn't that good. It was a moral argument of what about blah 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 blah. Now the game isn't that good. Have you played the game? Have any of you played the game, or are you just spouting out what others have told you? It's buggy. It's not always clear. It's a fan product, you fucking idiot. It is a work of passion by a fan of the franchise. It is not a commercial product, you absolute asshat. Now, can you have complaints about fan projects? Yes, you can. Just know that fan projects are ever changing. This is not the final version of the game. This is not the last time he'll update the game. To assume that the game would be perfect is ridiculous. There's even Easter eggs hidden in the game saying remember to optimize. There are fucking developers from the game saying that they will continue to update it. They will continue to work stuff out. It is ridiculous to assume that everything would be perfect, especially with how many different things Sonic has been. Sonic has been Boost, Sonic has been Adventure, Sonic has been 2D, Sonic has been 2.5D. To be a perfect Sonic game is impossible. That besides the point, though, it's something that's gradually getting worse. I don't believe you. I don't fucking believe you. I think it's dumb how the game is popularity. How the game is game popularity. How the game is game popularity. Are these children? Are these actual children? And people are saying the best Sonic game... And people are saying that the best Sonic fan game because one is just Sonic 2020 with new levels. I Am Boss is having less hits. So he's either foreign, retarded, or a child, so his opinion doesn't matter and I'm not going to argue with it. The state of this community is an absolute joke. I agree with you. You're biased and uninformed. So because I actually went out and brought up other Patreons that do this and no one cares about them, because I argued that that Sega is a multimedia franchise, Sega is a multimedia company, and Sonic is a multimedia franchise, that makes me biased and uninformed. But these guys who just watched LS Mark and want to spout out shit without knowing, they're not biased at all. The people who haven't even played the game and just say, lol, it's buggy, they're not. They're not biased at all. Very good arguing. You guys realize you're Merciful King Bolt. Okay, so I didn't talk about Sonic 2020. Check my channel. I didn't defend it. I didn't do anything about it because I didn't fucking care. He's not my king. I don't fucking give a shit about him. He's just another guy. So you're already being manipulative with that, saying that. And also 2 commas. 2 fucking commas back to back, whatever, is also on Twitter, another comma. I don't know if you know this, other comma, but Twitter is made of millions of people. That comment is pointless and doesn't serve anything. Dude, Sega is nice enough to let us have fan games. Quoting Ellis Mark directly again. Quoting Ellis Mark's fear-mongering propaganda video again. Good job. Good job. No original thoughts, no original takes. Nothing is rattling in that fucking marble din. It's just fucking, let's just repeat it. Let's just repeat the same thing he said. So let's not take advantage of that and break the law. Yet again, you're not breaking the law unless someone is pushing charges on you. If you choose to punch someone in the face and they're not going to press charges, you didn't break the law. If they don't report you to the police, you didn't break the law. You don't get to decide when someone breaks the law. If a company is letting you use their IP and they are not taking you to court, you are not breaking the law. You are not Sega. You are not Sonic. You do not get to choose who uses the property. You don't get to choose what is and isn't illegal. And these are the comments I keep getting repeatedly. The people who are mad because people who praise this game, it takes spotlight away from their preferred game. This guy says, I think SRB2 is better than Sonic Omens. That has nothing to do with the discussion. That has nothing to do with this man losing money. That has nothing to do with this man losing support. This has nothing to do with people who are trying to deplatform him. I am glad that you like your fan game, but your fan game doesn't trump other people's fan games. Your opinion does not trump other people's opinions. And just because someone likes something that isn't made on the Doom engine and wasn't made 20 years ago, doesn't mean that you have to attack them. I don't know why you feel like that this game is a threat to your Doom modification, but I really wish you would quit projecting. Due to the fact that I think SRB2 has better level design. SRB2 is a giant fucking hallway. It has nothing. It has no coherent level design. It's literally just the same badniks pasted throughout the levels, and the levels are giant and square looking. If you think that Sonic 3D Blast is a masterpiece, then maybe you'll like Sonic Robo Blast too. But unfortunately, I don't. This is where differing opinions come into play, and I think we both can agree that we both suck, and that each of us have the wrong opinion. Because I don't agree with you, and you don't agree with me. It's kind of how opinions work. So to say that it has better level design and better physics, etc., is ludicrous, because what you think is a better level design and what you think is better physics isn't necessarily what I will think are better physics and better level design. It's stupid to just push your opinion out there. And when you're literally just a Doom modification, I don't think you really get to speak much about how original you are or how better you are. But maybe that's just me. I know a lot of people like that game. I know a lot of people have fond memories of that game, but he does a capital N, so his opinion doesn't matter. The best part is, it's non-profit. Now, I've heard rumors that they did accept donations at one point. I saw no proof to this, but it's up in the air. But it shouldn't matter, because technically, this game isn't for profit. He's not selling you the game. He has an optional donation website for you to tip him for his work on making games. It's not for you to buy Sonic Omens. You are not buying a product from him. You are helping him continue to make games. I don't know what's so complicated about that. And still managed to be one of the best Sonic fan games. So all that was you just sucking off Sonic Robo Blast 2. I don't even know what to say about that. To be honest, I don't like the game that much. I think people are over-appreciating the game because it looks good. By that, I mean the neon blue flashy effect, so bright color, go brr, me no know how to play game. You think I like it because it looks pretty? I fucking play that game on dirt settings so it runs good. I don't care that it looks pretty, I care that the level design is coherent, it feels like it has flow to it, Sonic actually controls pretty nicely, and the boost isn't going to make me fucking die. I like that the game is balanced, I like that it has momentum to it, I like that Sonic actually feels like he is running. Not that he's just a car set to go straight, like in fucking Sonic Forces, where the game auto drifts for you. Or hell, like Sonic Generations, where you mostly run in straight lines. Not that that level design was pretty bare bones. It doesn't fit well with the boost formula at all. How? Here's one of my biggest complaints with people complaining. People are saying that the game's boost formula is to blame for them sucking at it. You don't have to boost all the time. You can stop boosting anytime you want to. When you want to platform, the game has good controls for platforming. You don't need to keep hitting boost to win. Slow down. It's not like fucking Sonic Forces where you turn like you're a tank. You actually have fluid turning. You have 360 motion. Use it. You don't have to run. The boost is limited on purpose in that game. The issue is that Sega is a game company. So yet again, we're going with the game company argument, despite Sega selling many different projects, many different products. I don't know why people just keep resorting to it's a game company. Oh wait, I do know why that, because Ellis Mark said it. Of course, they're not going to target fan art or non-fan games. Okay, so let's do a little thought experiment here. If Sega makes games, and a fan game is a threat to Sega making games, then if Sega makes animations, wouldn't animations be a threat to Sega's animated projects? If Sega makes comics, wouldn't that be a threat to their comic projects? If Sega makes wall scrolls, wouldn't fan-made wall scrolls be a threat to their products? If Sega makes shirts, wouldn't fan-made shirts be a threat? Wouldn't a ton of fan projects be a threat by your own logic? Like, what separates a game from anything else? People have been arguing for years that video games themselves are art. So why is video games being treated differently than any other thing Sega works on? Sega isn't just a game company. They sell a ton of different products. They make a shit ton off of merchandising. They wouldn't sell Sonic shit if no one bought it. Just saying. Just fucking saying. And I know they don't make that stuff themselves, but they still overlook it. They still make the guides that the fucking third-party companies use to fucking sell it. And Sega still makes a fucking bank on it, or else they wouldn't make it. However, they do make games. Well, technically they hire third-party developers and then they just release it. So by your own logic, they don't make games, so go fuck yourself. However, they do make games. And if they notice too many fan games doing this stuff, that's a hypothetical. That's a hypothetical, and you're acting like it's a fact. Games have been doing this for a while now, and Sega hasn't done shit. So I really doubt they're just all of a sudden going to wake up and go, fan games must go. It's too late now. All of them gone. They'll stop even being slightly gracious, quoting Ellis Mark again, because this guy's unoriginal, and will likely start taking down more fan games like Nintendo. They have not taken down any fan games that I know of, so more is the wrong word to put in there. And yet again, to assume someone is going to be as bad as Nintendo is fear-mongering, because Nintendo has always had a record of doing this shit. Sega hasn't. Sega of America may be cooler with fans, quoting Ellis Mark again, quoting Ellis Mark again, quoting Ellis Mark again. But Japan's never been so nice, acting like you know what the fuck you're talking about. Plus, it's kind of unfair that other fan game makers can't make money. So, you are saying that all the fan game makers should ask for money just because one guy has optional donations. That's ridiculous. I know plenty of fan game developers that wouldn't want money for their project because they did it as a hobby. They did it because they wanted to. They have enough money and they don't want more. This guy wants to be able to fund himself and fund other projects he's working on. So of course he's asking for optional donations. Not everyone needs the money. That's a massive assumption on your end that he would even need the fucking money. Also, ban the guy who's spamming K. I'm not gonna deal with this shit. Someone fucking get rid of the guy. Derek, get rid of anyone that spams anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Just fucking get rid of them. If they spam shit, they're gone. Well, let's continue reading this. I don't think you understand the situation by saying Twitter is wrong. Fan games are a whole other can of worms compared to art. So that argument again. We're doing that argument again. This is a game. So you're showing that other people are profiting off of Sega's IP. Okay. So, where did you go to buy this game? Did you buy Sonic Omens? That's my question. Did you buy Sonic Omens? And if you did buy Sonic Omens, who'd you buy it from? Because I downloaded it for free. I downloaded it for free. No one made me pay a thing. I have yet to donate to this guy. So how the fuck did I get Sonic Omens for free directly from the developer if he is profiting off of Sega's IP? Just asking the question. Because it's them who profit off of games. Do not defend Omens. Are you Christian? Are you fucking Christian with that part? Okay, this guy isn't even being clever with it. He straight up says, LS Mark said. So, you could say before, maybe they're getting it from Twitter. Maybe they're getting it from a friend who got it from a friend who got it from a friend who heard it from LS Mark. But now, this guy directly says, LS Mark said, the difference between Sonic fan games get paid. Wait, what? The difference between Sonic fan get paid to make fan game and Sonic fan getting paid making art is that Sega is not an art company. They are a video game company. Do you think Sega doesn't pay for art? Do you think Sega doesn't pay people to make art for them? Do you think Sega doesn't sell anything else besides Sonic games? They're not called Sonic games, they're called Sega. You are so fucking ignorant on how life and society and business works that you are going to believe Ellis Mark at face value, despite Ellis Mark proving multiple times that he is a fucking idiot. But that's just me. I haven't played the game, so his opinion's invalid. You are not allowed to critique a game if you haven't played it. You are not allowed to review food unless you've ate it. You are not allowed to review a book unless you read it. You are not allowed to have an opinion on this game unless you've played it. Because I don't have a PC that can run it. But Ellis Mark said something? Well, dear God, if he said it on the internet, it must be true. That Sonic Omens controls are terrible. Well, so Ellis Mark said it. I guess I should delete the game right now, because his opinion trumps mine. I can't believe it. I can't believe that his opinion is better than my opinion, or anyone else's opinion. I guess it was fun having opinions while it lasted, but this is just fact now, because Ellis Mark said it. I believe people should get paid for their work. All this does is somewhat renew interest in the Sonic IP, and if Sega ends up having a problem with it, and the game's better than the games they're putting out, maybe they should consider hiring the team who made Omens. I don't think they will. I really don't think they will. I think that's too optimistic. Oh, this one's good. I'm gonna read this one. Thank you, fucking kid from the Magic School Bus. I really needed this one. I think his name's Carlos. I could be wrong. A lot of arguments made on Twitter follow the slippery slope fallacy, where it could potentially lead to Sega taking down fan games that are monetized. Sega is kind of loose with Sonic in comparison to other IPs. So far, being only Streets of Rage that they are being strangely obsessed with. So, if Sega were to come to the conclusion to take down a Sonic fan game, they'd probably go, hey, stop that, before taking more drastic measures, which I think that is very likely. If they were going to do anything, they would politely ask for people to take it down. I don't think that they would straight up destroy anything. I think this guy's right too. Nah, they're clown on the last bit. This video caught them all in 4K. All the damn projects having optional payments, but Sonic Omen does it and it's bad? Okay, Twitter, just admit that you hate this game because it's shining. And I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. Oh god, this guy left a novel. I'm not fucking reading that. I'm not fucking reading that shit. I mean, Sonic Omen, not Sonic Omens, Sonic Omen, looks damn great, but it had flaws. Just flaws, not gonna go deeper than that the creator should address. And I fear that the creator profiting off of this, which he isn't, will make Sega into the new Nintendo. Okay, so we're gonna play a new game. We're gonna play a new game, guys. If someone quotes LS Mark or says Sega's the new Nintendo, we give up and move on to the next comment, because I'm done with this shit. I will read it aloud, and then I will say, you are quoting LS Mark, and be done with it. First thing, Sega okayed the project, so we're in the clear. I don't know if that's true. I've never heard that, but okay. It seems like it's a certain subset of fans in the vocal minority. These people are creating a non-solution for a non-problem. Very true. It isn't illegal for creators to have a Patreon, which is also true. Using that logic, anyone that creates anything for any platform that makes any money at all should be removed. Very true. YouTube should be deleted as well, because they profit off of channels that profit off of other companies' intellectual properties, which is true by that logic. It's honestly frustrating to see how people who don't know copyright laws spread fear-mongering and false information. I've been watching people play through the game on different channels, and while looking through the comments, I see the same 4 or 5 people bringing up false information. It's gross, and puts a bad reputation on the fandom. I had an opportunity to voice Sonic and handle the English localization. I'm on Twitter if you want to give me a follow. And I might even DM you to talk more about this. I might bring him on one of my podcasts. Who knows? Let me see if there's anything else worth reading here. Honestly, I agree with Twitter here. Profiting off a fan-made Sonic game will lead to others doing the same, quoting Ellis Mark, and Sega becoming Nintendo 2.0. Okay, we're done. We're done with that comment. See how many comments we're going to go through when I stop at that point? Amazing. Amazing how many people just blindly quote Ellis Mark. Weird. My opinion is that Sonic fan games could be endangering the future. Probably unlikely. But people should stop making the creators of the game look like Hitler just because they wanted a little money. People are acting like creators of this fan game are EDP 445 levels of bad. Hold the phone. Products that exist to harm companies in the long run and use pre-existing IPs for their own financial gain. So that's what he thinks about fan projects. That's what he fucking thinks about fan projects. So if you've ever made a Sonic fan game, you're harmful to Sonic. You're harmful to Sega. You make your fan comic, you make anything using someone else's IP, you're harmful. Think about that. These fools are talking about bootlegs. Now, this is from a retard on Twitter. And now I get to talk about this argument. There is a fucking retard on Twitter. Let me see. Let me see if I can fucking find this tweet. I know I wasn't prepared to go to Twitter, and I didn't have anything set up for Twitter, but let me find it. Let me find this guy's stupid fucking argument. I know I retweeted it. I had to. Where is it all? Where is it at? Where is it at? Here it is. Here it is. Reminder. If a fan game is made for profit, then it's not a fan game. It's a bootleg. So, where did you buy Sonic Omens? Where did you buy it from? Who did you buy it from? Because if it's made for profit, that would mean that you had to buy it. Last time I checked, you don't buy Sonic Omens. If you want to, you can search up separately the creator of the game studios and give him a tip on Patreon. That's not being for profit. That's not selling you the game. You do not know how the real world works. I get that you are making your own fan game for free, and you're the true fan game developer. But it doesn't mean that everyone has to be like you. It doesn't mean that everyone has to work without pay. If someone's putting their time into projects on the internet, they have the right to make a Patreon. His Patreon is not where you get the game from. You get the game from free websites that host fan games. You are wrong. You are wrong. And someone even quotes this as a meme. I think that's where I'm going to end this and switch to the second video. But Dylan, Sega isn't an art company. They called it. They knew that was what this whole comment section was going to be. It was going to be people fucking spouting that shit. So now let's move on to the second video. Let's move on to the second video, and then we'll be done with this shit. LOL, dude. Sonic media that aren't games only get greenlit and promoted the games. What? LOL, dude. Sonic media that aren't games are only greenlit to promote the games. So, the Sonic Cups promote the games? The Sonic manga where Sonic is a boy named Nicky who transforms into the magical hero Sonic the Hedgehog promotes the game? The continuities that are nothing like the games promote the games? The cartoons that have nothing to do with the games promote the games? I don't think you realize how this stuff works. When it comes to Sega lending out their IP, yes, it could be seen to promote the games, but they're also products intended for consumption on their own. That's why SatAM has an original storyline. That's why Underground had an original storyline. That's why most projects have original storylines. They don't make the product assuming that it has to be just like the game. That's not how any of this shit works. That's just ridiculous. The Sonic cartoons, comics, plushies, and toys, and even the movie are all advertisements. Okay, if the movie was an advertisement, why wasn't Sega allowed to change the movie? Why wasn't Sega allowed to fuck with the movie? Why did Sega not get to choose the writer? Why did Sega not get to choose the art direction? Why did Sega not get to approve the redesign? Oh wait, it's because Sega sold someone else the rights to the movie. So then the movie became their product and their project. Way to bring up the one comparison to where I can say definitively that Sega didn't make it to promote any game at all. Sega is a video game developing and publishing company. Okay, so you quoted Ellis Mark. We're done. We're done. We're done. I'll address new arguments, but I'm not just going to fucking read Ellis Mark's shit all over again. Not even sure why there is an entire video for this. Pointless question, simple answer. Ah, simple answers. I can't wait for this. Anyone creating their own IP and not profiting from characters, franchises created by others. If you want to profit from a game but keep it similar, swap the character models out. Okay. Tell that to Season 3. Season 3 is a project, which is an animation project, made to continue Sonic SatAM. It is using Sonic and Sega related characters. Tell them, hey, me, Jack K, has decided that you can't use this because these are someone else's characters. I know you like SatAM and everything, and this is a project made from passion and love, but change it. Change it. That's not Sonic anymore. That's Donic. Donic the pink porcupine. Because I've decided that you can't use Sonic. Did I ask Sega? No, I didn't ask Sega. I decided you can't use Sonic. For the sake of it. Because my morals. That's dumb. Go and tell Archie Continued, or fucking whatever it's called, Archie Retold. Go tell Sonic Archie Retold, hey, I know you like the Archie comics, but can't use Sonic. I'm sorry, you have a Patreon. You can't use Sonic anymore. You better enjoy Lonic. Lonic the Echidna. I can continue on. I can keep naming projects of things involving Sonic the Hedgehog that have Patreons. So they should all change because you said so. All of them. All of them? All of them should change. Just because the creator has an optional funding method. Not crazy at all. Not a nut job idea. Okay, so there's a massive difference between a lot of these that Sonic Omens paywalled parts of the game behind donations. Okay, so you are making a definitive statement. You are saying that Sonic Omens has hid stuff behind a paywall. I am going to tell you, Sonic 2020 did hide stuff behind a paywall at one point. They did have demos put behind a paywall. That was a different Patreon under a different name, and that was a different part of the game under a different name. As far as I'm aware of, since the switch to Sonic Omens, since the switch to an actual development studio, since people corrected him over a year ago, the creator of the game has only shown gameplay. He's only shown level concepts. He's only asked for advice. That's not hiding it behind a paywall. You are still one of the first to play the game. You didn't have to pay to play the game. That's not putting the game behind a paywall. If you want to say Sonic 2020 was doing shady shit, well, you're telling me old news. Yeah, thank you, Derek. You're telling me old news, but I guess that's true. Sonic 2020 did have a paywall. Congrats. I guess you're right. But Sonic Omens hasn't. Sonic Omens has an optional payment method. You don't have to donate to him to play the game. The game came out for everyone at the same time. So, whatever. i.e., you had to pay to get access to these, which actually breaches fair use, which only applies to Sonic 2020. Sonic fan games in particular have always operated in a gray area, which is true, in which Sega of America classifies them as being for educational purposes. That is not true, and you have nothing to back that, which allows them to ride on the line of fair use, which is true. But what Sonic Omens did can easily be interpreted as copyright infringement. Any fan project can, and with all the ways... and with all the why doesn't Sega make anything like this... So, we're concerning about the corporation's feelings, okay. And the comments of the creator himself, if Sega wants to start viewing him as No, they're not going to view him as a competitor. That's dumb. You're dumb. You're quoting Ellis Mark. We're done. Someone asked if I'm cool with Ellis Mark. I haven't been for a long time. I had Ellis Mark on my podcast. I'm not friends with Ellis Mark. Okay, I think I've hit all the points I wanted to. I think I've gone over everything I've wanted to. I think we're done here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did, I might do a part 2 or whatever and then mix these together. But I think I've covered all of the dumb arguments. I think I've went over why everyone is being ridiculous with this shit. The guy has an optional Patreon. He's not hiding shit involving Sonic Omens. So I think people are being ridiculous. Sega has not decided to do something like this, and until they do, it's pointless bringing up hypotheticals, because you can't just assume that every company is going to be like Nintendo because you made a fucking fan game. That's ridiculous. LS Mark used fear-mongering to get people to do shit. Same with Cisco. Same with the guy on Twitter. This is ridiculous fear-mongering, and you shouldn't buy into it. If you like LS Mark, good for you. I think he just misinformed a bunch of people and put a fan game at jeopardy for no reason. So I think he's kind of a scummy piece of shit for it. But maybe you guys differ. These are just my honest opinions, and this is just a very unscripted, rambly mess. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.